almost nothing that I do has a ton of urgency to it, right? No, almost nobody says, hey, can we chat about customer success for an hour? And it's got to be today because I have a meeting tomorrow. It's just not that kind of a thing. It's much more, typically more philosophical. So I try to say yes to almost everything that I possibly can. Now, sometimes events won't line up so that you can say yes to everything, but that's one of the advantages we have, that we have 4 or 5 people at least in the company that can do almost any event in front of almost any group of people. Part of my job is to save the operational folks time so they can focus on running their businesses. But if I get asked to do something and I can't, I'll ping it over to Nick and he'll see if our CCO or our CPO or our CRO can do it. And vice versa, when Nick gets overloaded, he lets the spillover come to me. So we try really hard to find a way to say yes to almost anything. The things I would say no to are things that, I think this is, again, going to be kind of a lame answer, but things that clearly don't advance our topic. So, for example, I think CX has changed a lot, but I'd say 7 or 8 years ago, we got invited to speak at a number of CX conferences. And at that time, CX was so different from customer success. Customer success was very operational. CX was kind of very survey focused. And we just didn't get a lot of traction talking to people who were focused on CX. Today, that's different because CS and CX have kind of collaborated a lot more than they used to, but there was a time when they didn't. And I think customer support would kind of fall into that. Like if we got invited to a customer support event to talk to a bunch of customer support people, we might still say yes, depending on how we can weave the conversation, but there's a decent chance we would say no, because the people probably pinged us just because they think customer success is the same as, or just a new buzz phrase for customers.
Yeah, you don't know what you're asking for, and I don't think you want what you're going to get.
Exactly. So I think that's the level of pickiness that I go through. I really do try to say yes to almost everything, and given an infinite amount of time, which if you stretch out the calendar long enough, it's not infinite, but if I can push things off for a week or two, which I often do, then I can speak to an awful lot of people about it. So I don't end up saying no a lot. I think we do say no when it's clear that it's really not in our sweet spot.